Look, guys, their playbook has never really changed. You know, when I was a teenager, they did the exact same thing to me and to my buddies, my friends, that they're doing to these teenagers today. And these teenagers today are in a much worse position, okay? Because they didn't grow up and they're not aware of what happened 22 years ago. 22 years ago, when our greatest ally in the region knew that there was going to be attacks on our soil, sent a damn camera crew on site to film it as it happened, and didn't have the foresight or the thought in their mind to warn the people in the towers before the plane came crashing through the side. No, they are such great allies of ours that they would love to watch thousands of people burn alive, thousands of people who have family members jump out of the windows of a high-rise building to get away from the fire and come crashing down to their death. No, they'd much rather get video of that event than to warn the people that lost their lives in that event. No, and then they would sell us the idea and convince us that somehow Iraq and Afghanistan had something to do with the attacks. Oh no, it wasn't our other ally, Saudi Arabia, that carried out the attack. No, it was Iraq and Afghanistan. Well, we know that it was Saudi Arabia, and we know that Israel knew about it. So if they knew about it, the question you gotta ask is, did they conspire for that to happen? And if they did, why would they, or what would they have benefited from that happening? Well, shit, they could have convinced us to fight the wars, their wars, on their behalf and secure, I don't know, the oil along the Euphrates for them so that maybe they could sell it to us at a reduced price, sell it to our European allies. Well, damn, what do you know? That's just what freaking happened, wasn't it? Wasn't it? We went into Iraq. We funded the spawn, the genesis of the most brutal terrorist organization ever known to man, ISIS, through Hillary Clinton's State Department when we found out that we couldn't stay in the region, we couldn't maintain an occupation. So the damn State Department funded a brutal Wahhabist terrorist organization that just loved to behead Christians. And what is it that they did? They secured oil along the Euphrates and sold it to Turkey. And then let's talk briefly about Ukraine. Well, shit, Biden's son sat on the board of directors of Burisma, which had a contract to get the oil out of the shale gas fields in the Donbass. And the Russian-speaking population of Donbass said, hell no, you will not. Hell no, you will not. And so they went to war. They went to war over Russian not being allowed to be spoken in Ukraine, when everybody that was watching the situation really knew, right? It was over the shale gas fields. So now you've got this oil executive in the executive branch of our government, Biden. He's got oil all over his boots, blood all over his hands, and we're talking about a military draft now to defend Israel once again, to fight on the behalf of Israel, to fight Israel's enemies so that they wouldn't have to spill their own blood, that they could spill and sacrifice our blood so that their kids can be saved. Why? Why? So that we can secure the natural gas fields off of their coast this time? So that they can profit from the Mary B fields, the Tamar fields, and the Leviathan fields being sold to Europe, that gas being sold to Europe at a discount price to undercut the Russians? Is that what it's about? Is that what it's about? Is that why the southern border is open? Is that why Mayorkas has opened the southern border to allow a terrorist attack to happen? A major terrorist attack? It's got to be much, much bigger than 9/11. It's got to be much more brutal than 9/11 to convince us that we got to support Israel, right? Who does Mayorkas have more allegiance to? Does Mayorkas have more allegiance to the United States, or does he have more allegiance to Israel? Where was he born? Where was he born? Was he born here in the United States? No, he was not. No, he was born in Cuba. And what is his parents' background? What kind of a family does he come from? When you find out about Mayorkas, you will find out he has more allegiance to Israel than he does to the United States. You have to ask yourself, why? Why is he doing everything in his power? And why is Biden doing everything in his power to let our enemies in the United States, when they know damn well that they could carry out a terrorist attack, which could be used as justification for us declaring war once again against Israel's enemies? So that what? So that they can get rich off of our blood being spilled? No, not this time. Not this time. We have a right in the Declaration of Independence to throw off our government when they become tyrannical and abusive against the ends that they were created for. The reason we have a government is to protect our interest, not our allies' interest. The reason we have a government is to defend and protect our rights, not to trample over our rights. The reason we have a government is to protect our borders, not another nation's borders, not Ukraine's borders, and not Israel's borders. So before they try to convince you, teenager, that you need to go and fight and die on Israel's behalf so that they can fill their pockets with oil money, think twice, because they've done this before. But this time it's going to be much worse. You're not going to be fighting against a couple camel riding terrorists with AK-47 and RPGs. No. You're going to be fighting against a very well-armed and capable foe. One that can send a loitering munition up into the air for several days, and then once they find your position through thermal imaging, they can send the kamikaze drone straight to your position and take you out within a moment's notice. No, this war is not going to be like the last two wars. This war is not going to be one that you can fight.